Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Imagine that your coworker does nothing, but your wages are the same. Let's see what our OP did when confronted with this. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Coworker, lazy, tried giving me his brunt of the work, was a jerk to me. I ruined his week and almost got him fired. I work in an ER, and we'll call my crap coworker lazy for the rest of this story. We're both EMTs and therefore are very busy every day. There are many tasks that need to be done that aren't usually fun. We have to help out 46 patients at a time, and it's just the two of us. When I'm on shift with the other EMTs, it's no problem. One task at a time, both steadily work. The work gets done and we both aren't exhausted. With this guy, whoever gets stuck working with him hates their day because he's lazy and slow. We have to pick up our pace to compensate, otherwise patient care won't get completed, which I have a problem with. So I was asked to find things to bathe the patient with. The patient could walk, but the patient was a homeless person. The hospital was full and we have hazmat showers, so I opted to have him use those. My charge nurse and I both called 4 times to try and find lazy. He'd say he was busy with the task, we'd ask for his location, which he would purposely ignore. Meaning I wouldn't be able to go and relieve him so we could switch tasks. Let's get something straight real quick. Me being a female, if there's any kind of bathing, uncovering, catheterization, etc., we try to match female to female for the patient's comfort, which means I get called to just about everything involving a female all day, every day at work. So being fed up with doing all the work on his side and mine, I leave the patient with another female whose job is not to bathe patients in order to find him. I find him and in a PO'd manner tell him there's a naked man and you have to go help him. He complains to no end that that's not his job, F this, blah blah blah. 10 minutes later, the other lady who was outside tells me how she had to do everything while lazy stood there. Not okay. He then comes to brag to me about how he did nothing. Not only does this piss me off, because I constantly go out of my way to make my coworkers' lives less difficult at work, they usually do this for me as well. But now I look like a jerk for sending him instead of doing it myself to this woman. I more or less tell Lazy that he shouldn't have done that and that I don't know what to tell him. People are now PO'd at him. That very moment, I sat down and time-stamped everything in an email, detailed every tiny thing I did to try and make the situation better. I also documented how he bragged about doing nothing. It's been a month since that happened. My managers pulled me in before him. I reiterated everything. It's now an issue of fireable offense or not. Is it insubordination to a superior nurse who told him to do something? I say yes. Is there anything else you want to add, they ask? I respond, yes, he uses headphones when in the department and doesn't communicate effectively with the team. Another huge no-no. He gets called in and a few hours later, another coworker tells me that he got the highest level write-up possible, which means the next insignificant thing he does, he's gone. Then I guess he managed to talk down the write-up to a lower level, some effing how. Even so, he's just one F-up away from being fired. I should also add, we get paid the best in the state at this place, so once you're fired, that's it. Goodbye, well-paying job. Goodbye, ever working here again. He's been upset and working a tiny bit harder ever since. He blamed the other people involved instead of me, which is awesome for me, because if he tries to stick me with his dirty work again, I'll destroy his chances of staying with our hospital. I take note of every F-up this guy makes, time and date, so if he decides to be a F-twit to me again and complain about how it's not his job, effectively putting his work on me, then I'll turn in every tiny toe out of line he's ever made. Our job's a great one. People put their trust in us and I take it seriously. I have great pride in what I do, but I'll be damned if you try and shove your crappy work onto me and then complain to me about it. So he got a huge write-up, which puts him in danger of losing his job should he F up again, which everyone knows he will. Everyone hates him. There's also non-retaliation, so even if he tried to get me on something, he couldn't. Plus, I do my job, so yeah. I hate to be like that, but my patients are my #1 priority, and F Lazy for making me work 10 times harder than him every day, and F Lazy for making me look bad because he's a lazy sack of crap. And our second story. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no authority. By all means, then, solve them yourselves. So let me clarify. My mother died about 6 to 7 months ago. In my opinion, she was the last good person in my entire family. I'm mainly over it, as sad as that sounds, but it's an important detail when I discuss the rest of my family. See, my father's always hesitant to criticism and doesn't like it when I propose any sort of rule in the house. My sisters are very entitled. They like to do whatever they want, with little regard for other people. I can see as an observer on the outside that this is due to a sort of negative emotional feedback loop. Very easy to fix. Just love and respect each other, right? Wrong. Here's how a conversation with my dad goes about my sisters. Dad, you need to take better care of your sisters. Look at them. Me. All right, how about rules X, Y, and Z that I based off common sense and actually reading child psychology books? Look, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's none of your business. I make the rules around here, and if you don't like it, there's the highway. Unless you want things my way. And it doesn't end there. If I so much as attempt to get my sister to do anything, they start blaming each other for everything and tell me off. As such, Sister A, Sister B and C did nothing around the house. I cleaned it all today. Me. Well, I noticed some spots here and there that you didn't clean everything, but that's okay. I also doubt you did it all yourself. To avoid this in the future, how about you guys make chore lists and stick to them? It's all right every once in a while to cover for someone else doing their homework or not doing chores at all to finish your other responsibilities. Not the end of the world. Sister A. Look, I do everything in a certain way. It doesn't matter what you think is the right way because it won't work. Besides, you have zero authority. Dad tells us what to do, not you. Previously, the excuse used to be that I wasn't their mother, who tried to give me authority to make good rules in the house, but they still wouldn't listen. There's absolutely zero order in this household and zero respect for anyone else. I've resorted to just sticking around in my room to get away from the negativity when I'm at home. But that leads to conversations like these. Dad, barging in without knocking like he always does. Listen, OP, your life really needs to change. You need to get off your book, iPhone, computer, literally doing nothing at points in time, and get out of your room, bathroom, either or, because you have a family that loves you. This life really needs to change. Me. You're 100% right, Dad. Totally unenthusiastically, and shut the door when he's out. Sometimes he'll pull one of these. Dad, your sisters never have any idea when you're home. They think you stay in your room way too much. Isn't that pathetic? Me. Well, Dad, they've been in their rooms pretty much all day too. You never let them go out anyways. Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. So now here's where the malicious compliance comes in. This has depressed me and dragged me down for a long time. I call my aunt the heaven-sent saint that she is, and this is the gold that comes out of her mouth. Aunt, well, if no one's listening to you, just back off. If they say you don't have any authority whatsoever, then just act like you don't. If it's none of your business, it really is none of your business. They can apparently deal with it. If you don't know what you're talking about, then apologize and keep it to yourself. They probably wouldn't have listened anyway. Just be sure to remind them that you love them. Go blind, deaf, and dumb and just focus on yourself for a while. I love you. I followed that advice to a T for the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I've never been happier. It's actually funny because now my sisters come to me to settle their arguments, and I have to remind them that it isn't my business. I have no authority over them. As for my dad, old habits die hard. If life continues the way it is with them, I'm probably moving out soon. No reason to be unhappy because of other people. And our last story. Did I mess up your multi-million-dollar wedding? Oops. Background. About 15 years ago, I was working as a fancy gardener in Massachusetts. We tended to the House of Seven Gables and other wicked fancy places. One such location was the home of an extremely rich, top richest people in the country. This is a huge investment management company. The house was known for filming parts of a perfect movie about a particular storm. For example, one job I was given to rake the rocks on one of the personal beaches to make it more even. Yes, seriously. No, it never made a difference. I'm not as strong as the ocean. The daughter of the owner was planning on being married on this property. It was months of preparation, from moving in a garden to cover parking lots to planting moss between me paving stones, and even us painting planters for unloading and planting dozens of Douglas fir trees. You guys, when I say over the top, this place had staging set up. Yurts, it was insane. The boss had this weird thing he did. Each morning, we'd get a call telling us where our first job was to be. We'd give the okay and head over there. Everyone lived in different cities, and it usually took 20-plus minutes to arrive anywhere after the call. Can you guess where this is going? The week of the wedding, the boss is slipping. Not as cordial as usual. Okay, he's stressed. The day before the wedding, we bust butt. I tell my boss I have another gig with my second job the next day, and he gets pissed saying, I can't leave this one tomorrow until it's done. Okay, when's it going to finish? He didn't know. Okay, I prepare myself for the inevitable stress I'll go through the next day, with almost no sleep and a cool 18-plus hour workday ahead of me. I'm young, no problem, I can do that. The next day I wake up and wait for the phone to ring. It does, but a good half hour later than usual, it's the boss screaming about where I am. I tell him I'm here waiting for the usual call. He yells and says I need to show up at the wedding site in the next 15 minutes or you're fired. Guess who went right back to bed since the wedding site was over 25 minutes away? Can you also guess who didn't answer the numerous desperate calls from said employer? Begging please fell on my deaf, contentedly sleeping ears as the phone rang all day. I'm not even sure what part we were supposed to play that day. And I'm so happy I never found out. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.